Welcome to Cube Mania Live. How was that? Was that good? A good intro?
Yeah. So we were.
Today's a good. There's a reason to celebrate today. This is a milestone show, and I'm featuring Kentucky for the very first time. And 97 and Flood is the very first guest from Kentucky. Thanks, guys, for being on. It's nice to have you.
Thanks for having us.
I had a great. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I had a great week last week with repeat guest from Finland. That was awesome. Restful Feast was on, and I had Philly for the first time last week with No Tree Such a Sky. And last night, I was at a show 30 minutes north of here with a band from London that I've had on twice, and I met them once last year in Ohio at a show, and I saw them last night again. Confessions of a Traitor played a show last night right up the road, and it was badass to see them again from London. Oh, yeah. Check out their stuff. They're freaking great. They're going to another nationwide tour with Convictions from Ohio.
Stoked to be on, man.
Yeah. Welcome, guys. What the hell's going on in Louisville? I've never been to Louisville. It looks badass from what I've seen when I flew around on Google Earth and
it's like normal stuff, like no shoes and stuff, and like
I was telling you before we went live, you guys don't sound like you're from Kentucky at all.
Well,
Louisville.
There's Louisville.
Yeah, Louisville.
That's kind of
Louisville. Yeah. So it's not Louisville then. It's not Louisville.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Okay. I mean, there's 6 or 7 different ways to say it, but
do you know all 6 or 7 of them?
Louisville, Louisville, Louisville. Yeah, there's this building downtown that has it's like a small little shop, and it's got print on the front of it, like vinyl print, and it's got at least 6 different ways to say it. So yeah, as long as you're not coming around going Louisville, that's like saying I don't know, something else. That's not
there
right.
Was a French band back in the day. I think this had to have been like 2010. Flesh God Apocalypse, if you guys remember them. And they said, "Thank you, Louisville." And I will never forget. And I was young. I was kind of petrified at the notion. I was like, "What did that man just say?" To all of us now,
you were offended. What did he just say?
It wasn't even offended. Yeah. It's just like shock and awe. I was.
I've gained quite a few of Instagram followers because of you guys. Also because
That's awesome.
By announcing you guys being on the show and first time representing Kentucky and Louisville.
There you go.
I'll have it the correct way by the end of the show.
And I say it like you got peanut butter on the roof of your mouth.
That's good.
Louisville.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, if you try as little as possible, you're probably gonna get it right.
You just got to let it roll off your tongue.
Yeah,
sort of. But don't use it as much and stuff. Yeah, but I've met several people from Louisville. See, I did it wrong there. Louisville.
I think too much.
Yeah, thinking about it now. I've met several people and gained some followers on Instagram. Once I announced you guys were going to be on, so much that I have another band from Louisville tomorrow at 6:30.
That's awesome.
It's wild.
Submariner will be on tomorrow. So that's you guys don't know them at all. Louisville's a big city, so you don't know everybody.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and sub
that.
M-A.
Yep. SUBMARINER.
Yeah. I'm giving them a follow and check them out later.
Yeah, they're good. They're really good guys. So we'll talk to them tomorrow and see what they have to say about Louisville. We'll see who's cooler. I don't know.
Definitely them.
100%.
You guys are fairly new. I don't know too much about you other than what you've sent to me in your bio. Tell the folks a little bit about you, how you got started, and whatever you want to tell them.
So we've been playing in the same group for 3 years?
I want to say
3.5 years.
Back like 29.
Yeah, we started a group
4 or 5 years ago, man.
That was way heavier. It had an influence of some counterparts and
it's like very misery signals.
Very technical, very pushing ourselves at every practice. It was rewarding.
It was boot camp.
Yeah,
really.
It's boot camp. Yeah,
riff boot camp. Stuff's through all of this.
And that
we wrote a metalcore album that'll never see the light of day.
Well, it was like 6 songs, and it's still really cool. But that ended up not working out. So we all knew that we wanted to continue to play music at the time, besides the second or the other guitarist. Um, and we kind of put it all on David. We were just like, well, you know, without saying figure it out, we were like, well, what do you want to do?
They said figure it out.
We said figure it out.
Yeah.
And if you want to elaborate a little on that.
I mean, really, it came down to the fact that like before that project that we were working on, which we worked on for we worked on it through COVID. We started in Taylor, our vocalist's garage, and that had to have been 2019. I mean, that was early.
It was, at 2020 at least.
Yeah, I really think. Anyways,
Splitting hairs.
When we got started there, before that, I was playing in emo band, like a washy emo band called Street Sense. So like what I knew how to write, just clockwork, the mode that I was in before I got into this group of folks doing this was that washy emo kind of like almost singer-songwriter sort of stuff that I was dabbling into. So the second that everybody looked at me, we just like looked around in general and we were like, now what? I was like, well, guys, if we want, I can just sit here and wail these 9 or 10 chords for a while. We'll piece them together, put some chord progressions together, and lo and behold, 97 Flood somehow happened.
And it was all very true to our roots and what we had grown up playing for the most part. So it definitely makes sense if you know anything about us and the bands we've been in the past. And I've been playing in bands since high school, 2009. What about you?
Yeah, it's probably
about the same.
About the same. Maybe a couple of years. I mean, my first band I ever played in, that probably started like 2013, 14, I want to say, somewhere.
Yeah, so not.
And that band really kind of saw the light of day. So I really didn't start playing shows until like 2015. But all the same,
you guys think that having that, you know, as your background, you know, individually, that led to this being the project that you've always wanted to do?
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel about this project. It's like I look back on all the years that I spent playing these shows and going out to these spaces, and especially in Louisville, you know, we're really, really lucky. We're really, really blessed.
Very
to have
fortunate.
A city that just there's cities where you go to and you start to talk to people and you realize that there's like 90 of the same kind of band that play every weekend.
And it's usually 6 or 7 of the same people just intertwining. And that's
exactly
kind of how Louisville is, but
there's a good amount of diversity and there's a good amount of like, you know, people that we've always been playing shows together, but we've never played in bands together. So I look back on who's in this band and I'm like, if I were to take all my favorite members of all these different bands that I played with over time, like if I did like the all-star lineup, I have what's playing behind me and around me right now is my favorite member of every band that I've been playing with for the past 10 years, which makes me happy.
Yeah. So in a sense, it is a lot of the same musicians. Drummers are very few and far between.
I know this. Yeah, I know this.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's really how it is in most major cities.
Yeah. And the ones that are good and they're just taken and they don't want to do another side project, you know.
Yeah, or they're in
any other project.
Bands.
They're working drummers usually.
Yeah.
Now it's like
session drummers, you know.
Yeah, session drummer, your paid gig drummer.
Yeah.
Where did the name come from? I've been trying to guess this, and I can't.
Well,
the only thing I can think of is like the natural disaster of 1997.
One of the things that kept us from being just putting ourselves out there for so long, which is so dumb, was we couldn't figure out a name.
Oh, come on. And you just call yourself the Chucks or something like that, you know?
Well, we weighed that.
Yeah, he weighed that.
The hell out of that. All right.
No, absolutely not. But I remember seeing an interview of Pat from Movements. It was a short little clip of shout out Movements. It was a short little clip of him explaining that most band names you come up with, you make the band name itself. Like it's like more often than none. The only time I've really seen it, like the band names be cool and you're stoked to see them without knowing it, is a lot of hardcore bands, just because the name can be so abrasive or aggressive. But I feel there's a certain level in our genre where you have to make that band name. You have to make it stick out, and you have to like. It took us a while to figure out our artistic expression and where we wanted to go with that, and we kind of just fell into it from people telling us what they think of us and how there's a certain familiar nostalgicness to it without it being a carbon copy of all those bands. And it made me feel comfortable. It made us all feel a lot more comfortable in what we were doing and knew that we were doing the right thing because it just made sense. This is music that we've all grown up listening to.
Yeah.
But to answer your question.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's okay. No, that's cool. That's cool.
The root of it all, one of my earliest memories. So for one thing, we went through piles of band names before we landed on 97 Flood. And I would also like to point out that it got to the point to where every single other member of this band looked at me and said, I don't give a fuck what it is.
and then
it ended up being me, like a crazy man, and my iPhone list just coming up with like phrases.
Did you ever use that site that generates band names?
No, but
I went
it's
to
funky. It's a funky site.
And I was like, this ain't it. And
yeah.
to elaborate a little bit, sorry, on what you were saying, we were like, we don't care. And then he would come to us with a name and we'd be like, nah.
That. Yeah, I would get shut down.
So
you said you didn't care. Yeah.
It was terrible because we weren't coming up with ideas, but we knew what we didn't want. So it was just like the worst possible.
And to be fair, I'm glad it shook out that way because I love what we landed on. But one of my earliest memories was in 1997. There was a crazy flood that happened in Louisville in the Ohio River. Apparently,
it happened.
It was like
all over the Midwest.
Flood. It was a big one.
Yeah,
but never forget looking out into my backyard, and I was born in 95, so I was fucking 2, maybe like 1.5 when it happened. And it's like a snapshot memory. I have a few of these from just super, super early childhood, and I remember
when you gained consciousness.
Yeah, right. Well, I don't know, push it that far. I just somehow.
That's what it seems like.
I just somehow. But I just remember seeing like the fucking flood water come out. It was all coming up on the backyard. I was washing against the back door and just being fucking perplexed.
It's nuts,
so I thought to myself, like, what's the deepest root?
Which is it's cool because it has a certain meaning to us. It makes me think of bands like Parkway Drive, who that was just a street they lived on, just something like that had a shout out to something significant that happened with us. And then there's Title Fight has a song called Flood of 77?
The Flood of 72.
Flood of 72. Yeah. So it was kind of like a shout out to Title Fight as well, because that's one of our major influences.
I got into Title Fight way too late in life. I wish I had known about Title Fight 10 years ago. But
in West Virginia, around here, a lot of West Virginia, there was a big flood in '85. I was 5 years old at the time. I don't remember much of it, but I do remember, like, at my grandparents' house, pictures. There's still pictures, like in the old albums and the photo albums and things of that flood, and they still do, like, I don't read the newspaper anymore, but there is a section of the local newspaper that's like a look back in time kind of thing, and they would always show that, the crazy, like, the river just being in the street and in people's living rooms and stuff. So yeah, I know what you mean about just like early childhood. You remember important things, and
then on top of that, David just said fuck it and was like, because we weren't really sure on it, and he didn't even tell us. He was like, fuck it, and booked a show under 97 Floor.
Do it, yeah. I mean, you got to eventually somebody's got to take control. You know what I mean?
Because I got him to agree to the set. I got him to agree to the show, and I was like, well, and I'm trying to book it. I'm talking to everybody. As soon as I got yes from everybody, I said yeah.
Boom, there it is. Yep.
There it is.
So we were all like, bitch, excuse me?
Yeah.
I was a little like,
we'll give him a chance to say no this time.
Yeah, I didn't know how to feel about it, but looking back on it, that's exactly what we needed. So, no harm.
Yeah, because you'd still be sitting here to this day going, what are we going to be called, guys?
We'd be sitting in the same room we are right now, playing the same songs, not doing anything about it. And that's the most injustice we could do to ourselves with how long we've been playing in this group. So,
yeah. I want to go ahead and play one of your songs for the audience so they can see what
thank you.
What you hear, or what you sound like. That's what I was trying to arrive at. It's Monday, right? Yeah, it is Monday.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah.
I have an excuse then. It's Monday. What is this song about? Apple Music has me stuck on complete. So how to disappear complete, but I know it's completely. But that's the whole title, right?
Yeah, part two. Because
part two. That's what I want to know. Where's part one?
That's fun. It's funny you ask. Okay. Radiohead did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our vocalist absolutely loves Radiohead, and it's something we love giving him shit about, just because we love him.
At every 97 Flood show, we will ask the crowd if they fucking despise Radiohead.
I love Radiohead, so I will be the only one in the crowd.
You will.
Most people like Radiohead, but it's
just.
I mean, I don't love them, but I.
Yeah, and we don't even really hate them, but it's just become a bit. It's just a loving, shit giving bit to him. So
it has to be that. Yeah.
I'm not too entirely sure.
I mean, I think really if I break it down and I think about it, I mean, Taylor wrote it, but I don't know. I don't actually even want to speak on that because Taylor wrote it.
Yeah, I know.
Taylor's not here, so you're more than welcome.
Like, I don't even know you're dying.
I know Chain's a little bit more upfront, and I feel like so is How to Disappear Completely Part 2. Let me go to my notes real quick and just skim through these lyrics.
I was gonna say Taylor's not here. You can say anything you want. You know, he can defend himself the next time you guys are on. And
honestly, if it was to disappear for the second time, it would be entirely.
I think it's a little.
That's a good description. I like that.
It feels like a little extension of Chain, because Chain's really just about being so over your just day-to-day bullshit, going to work and not really working towards anything or building. You're working for someone else, not working for yourself.
Which is why our album art for both of those is the guy with the tape on his eyes being dragged to the side, because all of us have this tape pulling us.
So it seems, I could be wrong, but it seems like How to Disappear is him almost being fed up with not being able to get the break he wants in writing in Chain and just saying, fuck it all, I'm just going to disappear.
Who is that guy in the artwork? Is that just a drawing?
That is a local musician named Reeves, phenomenal drummer. They are in a handful of bands. I hate myself for not being able to think of it right now because that just looks super unprofessional and not cool.
They were in Sunshine, right?
Sunshine, yeah. Sunshine was one of the bands they're in. They're in a handful of bands in a scene that we have yet to tap into that I would really love to.
That band has one album out on something, I can't remember what it is.
They broke up like a year or so ago, I want to say.
The one Sunshine record from
Louisville. Yeah, it's still on Spotify. So if you want to go check out, we'll plug Sunshine. Let me go to Reeves' IG real quick.
I wonder if he'll ever know we're talking about him.
He'll know now.
If I can even find it.
I'll hit him up and be like, hey,
Reeves jazz music. So they don't have anything in their bio music-wise right now, but they're constantly posting little clips on their IG story. And
I mean, we just talked about the drummer being in 12 bands. Like,
it's how it is in Louisville. Sure. So I don't know what they're currently working on, but if you enjoy phenomenal drummers with a heavy jazz background
and tape over there,
and tape over there,
yeah, it's true,
dressed really well, really cool style. I haven't talked to them a whole lot, but they're really nice, and we really appreciate them doing that for us. So shout out to them and anything they choose to do musically in the future, because I know it's going to be good.
I don't like to compare bands with other bands. Like, you sound like this, you sound like this. So we'll listen to the song and then we'll kind of talk about influences.
All right.
Is that cool?
Yeah. Yep.
How to Disappear Completely from 97 Flood from Louisville. Did I do it right? Louisville.
Yep.
Louisville, Kentucky.
Part 2.
Part 2. Part 2. Make sure.
Come on! How hard can it really be? Pick it up and sell my stuff and disappear completely. Yeah. I'm on! Listen, sent by God. I'll bring it to ya. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I'm gonna do something new. If anything, just for fun. You gotta learn to walk before you learn to run. I think I might just stay.
I can't even think. I'm sitting here thinking of like, what does that sound like? I can't. I don't.
See,
I got nothing.
When I was like writing the chord progression for this, for one thing, this song got shit out of us one day when we like I did not write any of that riff beforehand.
No,
None of us had any of this.
Yeah, this one was I quite literally sat down and said, I want to write a chorus like the song Hatchet from Movements, and then I want the verses to be like Old Boston Manor.
Very specific.
That's literally how this song came about. We sat down and I said, this is like I did that intro fill, which is the same thing you hear in Hatchet, except for this song is probably 20 BPM faster at least, because for whatever reason, if you ain't first, you're last. Shout out Ricky Bobby. But
you big rig, fuck you.
But yeah, that's how this one came about. I sat down and I was like, this is what I want. This is what I want the song to be. So
yeah.
And I had been listening to a lot of Defeater lately, and my favorite and like you'll notice if anybody ever gives enough shit to sit down and like look at the chords that I'm playing for the majority of 97 Flood songs, they're all like third progression chords, like stacked third harmonies, and that's something that I ripped from learning Defeater.
We like Defeater
back when I loved that band growing up. Like
I like that style. That sounds great.
Yeah, so everything's just these stacked third minor chords the whole time, and he played that fill, and that's just so happened where my hand landed, and I went with that one, and then I went with the other one, and found the box. The rest.
We tried to. We definitely try to write for the better of the song, but something that I've been trying to convey to David without telling him how to play, because that's not what we do. It's not why we're doing it.
He tells me.
I tell him how to play. I tell him how to do his job. Yeah, and God forbid he tells me how to do my job. It's over.
I would never.
But I try to.
His band. It's his band, right?
Yeah,
he is 97.
No, but this goes back to when we first started. As far as the simplicity of it, it took David a while to get okay with being just him as the guitarist in the band.
Yeah.
It was a lot of conversations of like, play that part for the better of the song, and he was like, man, but this lead over it, bro, this
not even
this octave, and it wasn't even exactly that.
Not even like.
I wish my buddy Rob was here, because he plays guitar in our band, and he's been constantly saying, listen, I need another guitar player with me.
Yeah, well, there's that. It's not even that. It's just I want to overcomplicate it. Like I'll write something and I'll think to myself like, okay, I kind of fall in the same box the whole song, but I'm used to like switching up, having these wildly different parts through this, and like, I mean, even go so far as to write like key changes and shit. But I had to like ride that fine line of like, what is something that is an organic expression of myself, but also we try to make it a little listenable. Like
we want to
don't get weird.
Yeah, we want to leave it open enough to where we let Taylor shine, who does vocals, because he is phenomenal. We want to leave space for everyone. We want it to be extremely melody driven, I guess, to a certain extent. But a lot of these earlier songs were not necessarily me and David butting heads, but me trying to bring him back down to like, I want you to be happy with what you're playing, but like,
yeah, have fun with
calm
it.
down a little bit.
Like I'll come up with just part after part.
Yeah, just calm down.
Like we'll be writing something and we'll get a part going. I'm like, but what if I do this after this real quick? And then like this part before this next part. And it's like, no, Dave, shut the fuck up, go back to the chorus.
For the better of the song. For the better of the song. For the better of the song.
That's tough. That's got to be tough to do. Like that's an adjustment for yourself, I guess, right?
Yeah. It's been an adjustment for all of us. It makes me think of I was the first drummer for a band from here called Greyhaven. And after I was no longer in that band, I played with a band called Concealer, and the only EP that I put out with them was, it was acoustic songs that were brought to electric and written like that. So I went from like,
that's interesting.
I went from like trying to go off and play drum parts that make people feel weird to learning how to play in the pocket and play for the better of the song, which I feel is something that really helps us out with this project.
Did I hear a dog barking before the song started?
Yeah, we have a neighbor. We're in the sunroom, and it's the neighbor's dog Piper. She's great though.
Dog giving me puppies.
Pets are welcome on the show. There's people always share their pets, but I mean, who cares if it's somebody else's pet? Just put them on the show.
Yeah. Shout out Piper. But I texted Tay real quick because I said, quick, what is How to Disappear Completely Part 2 about? And in one sentence, he says, the idea of reinventing yourself by starting everything over. So
wow, that's good. Yeah. That's good. Now, is he the only one that sings? Does anybody else?
He's the only one starting off that sings. We're live. Joey, our bassist, does vocals, and then I do some vocals. Neither of us are nearly as good as Tay.
I mean, you do vocals on Chain.
I do vocals on Chain. I do like some of the background screaming that you hear.
Do you do anything on How to Disappear?
I don't do anything on How to Disappear. I do some background screams on Chain. I'm more of a heavy vocalist. I do some singing, but I absolutely hate the way I sound, and I'm trying to get better with that. And one thing that I think we should all do. Well, I mean, we need to get a better PA for practice, but I think me getting more comfortable with how I sound and getting better will just come with me getting a mic at practice, because there's a lot of parts that I write and
just belt it out at any point.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's
just start singing. Do sing right now.
A lot right now. Absolutely.
Sing right now. Let's do it. Yeah.
No, here.
I vote for that.
Nah, dog, that ain't it. But a lot of it is me knowing the lyrics and just singing, layering parts that I like live. Something that I did, and I was in a band. I lived up in Northwest Indiana for about 2 years, and I was in a band called Monterey from up there. And this was a learning process for me for many reasons, but one of them being we wrote a song in the studio, and I decided to put some vocals over it. And me being an idiot, not thinking about it, I put a really tough vocal part over a part of the chorus where there was a fill, and I was like, why did I? Yeah, so that didn't last long. But
see, that's why I don't.
You live and you learn.
We set up to play, they'll like the sound guy will look at me because everybody else gets a vocal mic and look at me like, do you want? I'm like, no, fuck, I don't. No, I don't. And you know why? I'm busy. I'm fucking busy. I'm the only one with 6 fucking strings up here, and I'm scared.
I'm scared.
Terrified.
Honestly,
now, I noticed. I'm glad I saw it before I got jumped on Zoom. But I noticed on Instagram, on your post, you put, jump on and watch us explain why we call each other Chuck. So now you have to do that, because I don't even know why you call each other Chuck. What is that about?
I don't think
it's an industry secret.
I don't even.
Well, you can't post that and then not say it. Come on.
To be honest, I don't even. I mean, you may remember better than I do.
I remember
because I think he was the original Chuck, and it was just a term of endearment.
It comes from Dave. That show about Lil Dicky on Hulu. We all watched that at the same time when it first came out, and there's that scene with him and Rick Rubio, or no, not Rick. What's Rick Rubin? Rick Rubio's a basketball player. Rick Rubin, him and Rick Rubin, and they just, I don't know, they get high as fuck, and they just start calling each other Chuck the whole time. It's like, hey Chuck.
So now it's like a term of endearment. And we're all Chucks, and then we
like our group chat's called the Chuck Chat.
Yeah,
Chuck Chat. There you go. Yeah,
Chuck Chat. Yeah.
Maybe that's what I need to. I'll rename our group chat for the band to Chuck Chat. Just something like that. Fuck with them.
So like David was saying.
Yeah, I'm Chuck Bastard. He's the head Chuck in charge.
Head Chuck in charge.
Joey, who plays bass for us, he's Father Chuck, or just
who's
Dad.
up Chuck? Who's up Chuck? Anybody?
No, not yet. Could be
Come
you.
on.
Could be you.
Could be you.
It could be Tay.
That's the Chuck Knighting.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. And then he's normally just Chuck.
Yeah,
we just he's
just
simple.
Chuck, or he's really Tay.
He's
Tay. He might not even really be
Tay Chuck home.
Yeah,
Tay Chuck the
Tay Chuck the
yeah. That's
now there's a famous baseball bat that was born in Louisville, right? A baseball bat.
Yeah, the Slugger. Whatever.
Slugger. Yeah.
Yeah, Slugger. Yeah.
Isn't there a whole museum about a bat?
Yeah, they got the big bat out front of the museum.
Yeah, it's like a 3-story bat, and it's.
Can you go inside the bat? Is it like a restaurant?
The bat.
That'd be a hell of a lot cooler if you could.
Yes, it would be. I would definitely.
If you tried hard enough, you could somehow get in.
Yeah, because there's no way it's solid.
There's no way. Yeah,
they got to clean it somehow, right? I don't know if they got to clean it.
I don't know. I don't know if it's like a.
I got new life goals.
If it's like a lighthouse setup or what we got.
I kind of want to get into the landmarks segment here, because I looked and I searched everywhere, the places I normally search for things, and and I can't find anything that's not really known. Like it's.
I mean, the first thing that I think of when you ask that question is something that a place that was near and dear to me, and especially near and dear to a lot of kids that grew up in the same vein of way that I grew up. Highlands kids, we'll call them. And anybody that is watching this right now that was born and raised here knows exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. But ear ecstasy. I feel like not a lot of people talk about it.
Yeah, that place was really
that was
cool.
a holy ground for
like. Okay, so what was that?
I remember seeing Cage the Elephant like right before No Rest for the Wicked came out.
And it was a massive record store that had a second level, just an insanely big record store.
It was and it was centered in this part of town that's always arguably, it's not really too much this way anymore. I guess it still kind of is. It's more just bars. And
it still is. We're just old now, and we don't.
Yeah, I'm just old.
Yeah, we don't. We don't go down there and walk around. Like
it's known as like the artsy part of town, where like all your
it's like a mass
your record shops.
Yeah, it's like a mile to a mile and a half strip of just like local shops, bars, restaurants.
Back in the day, they used to literally just mob up in groups of like 40 kids and just walk up and down this road just for it was crazy.
There's a Qdoba that used to be 24 hours. Now I think it's 24 hours through the weekend, just Friday through Sunday, and after midnight they serve breakfast there. So that was a hangout spot.
The thing to do was to walk from Ear Ecstasy to Qdoba to Mid City Mall. And then just walk back to Ear Ecstasy. You'd sit on the front of Ear Ecstasy. They had the little machine in there where you grab a record or a CD or whatever, you scan it, put your headphones on, you just sit there.
So
that place is no longer then?
No, it is not, unfortunately. They moved locations like, I want to say back in like 2013 or 14 or something. They had a one last hurrah for a couple years. And, it was a record store.
And then it was a Panera, and now it's a I Love Tacos.
Yeah, it's just been food spots.
Yeah, it's been food spots.
Which, cool. I love food.
I love tacos. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
No, but it's a very aptly named restaurant.
Yeah, I would say that was a pretty important landmark that we had.
Yeah, I missed that.
But I did see a place. It's a cemetery, but it's a it's called Sammy Swings. You know what I'm talking about? It's a
Sandy Swings.
How do we not know what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't know. That's not a very good picture, but it's at the same cemetery that Ollie is in. I think the Cave was a Cave Hill.
Cave Hill.
My
apparently it's this girl. She was how old was she? It doesn't say. She rode her tricycle into the family pool and drowned, and in 2006. So like 3 years old. She accidentally rode her bicycle or her tricycle into the family pool. But they put this tombstone up. It's not really creepy, but it kind of is. Like it's just like a statue of her swinging. But who's swinging her? It's Jesus. Like it's like draped over the stone and like on top and like holding the rope. That's just strange. Why would you? That's just.
Not only is that strange, but that's insanely expensive.
No, I actually want that.
Here it is. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's just creepy. Come on, man. You can't.
I didn't know what I was looking
at
first, and then that's weird.
Have you seen where people will like put like at a funeral home during like what is it when you go see the body before it's like buried?
The funeral.
Yeah, it's like your memorial.
Look at that. Look how creepy that is.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's
what family in their right mind would put that up?
That's also cool that we're not familiar with that, and you're teaching us stuff about where we're from.
Well, not necessarily. It's just
we're familiar with Cave Hill just because that's a beautiful cemetery. It's massive.
Until you get to this gravestone, and then it's like, what is going on here?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That is also in the Highlands.
It's in the Highlands.
Now I know Colonel Sanders was that's a big Colonel Sanders area. The chicken.
There's the museum. Where's the museum?
I don't fucking know. I
want to say like Owensboro or something.
It's in Louisville.
Right? I think it might be in Owensboro or something like that. I don't know. I feel like it's ironic because like everybody that lives in Kentucky, KFC is probably your last fast food option.
Well, I think it's just gone downhill for the way where it was.
They don't have potato wedges anymore, man. Why am I going there? What
do they not really?
They don't. Yeah, no, they don't.
It's in Watterson Park,
crap,
Kentucky. wherever that is. I know that we do have something that I haven't seen a whole lot of in other states. We have some that are like KFC buffets.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you pay for a plate.
I forget that's like a
but
special
it's
thing.
not like most buffets though. I think it's you pay for you pay like maybe, or
they don't clean from the previous day is what it is.
Yeah,
don't know.
It's interesting, and I haven't been to one in forever.
And you're getting a buffet.
There's a thing in West Virginia. I don't know if it's how far that way it stretches, but I know it goes into Kentucky a little bit. There's a thing here called ramps. Yeah, I know it's not. It doesn't sound appetizing at all. It's ramps, and like ramps like you would jump off of, like ramps. But it's basically like a wild onion. They just grow in the forest, and it's a big deal around here. Like people have like fundraisers of this. Like and they call them ramp feeds. And you go and you sit down, and okay, the trick is though with this is you smell like these ramps after you eat these ramps. It sweats out your pores, and so you smell like this for a good week. So that's why like when you go to these ramp feeds, you basically take your neighbors with you because they're going to be smelling you for a week. I mean,
it's like
just go ahead and get them used to it.
Is it like a cleansing?
Not in a good way. I mean, it's
Is it just for fun? Do we just do this?
No, I mean, like people eat this stuff. Like I've seen old timers like pull them out of the ground and just, you know.
I mean, I like onions, so that might be something that. But
it's a different tasting onion. I don't know. But I mean, a lot of chefs like from around the world actually order these things.
Is it like a red onion or is it more like a yellow
onion? They're more
it?
like a white, but the stem is red and then the leaf is green, of course. But like it's the leaves that a lot of people use.
You'd be kind of interested. I want to try one now. I don't know why.
I don't know if you do. I don't know if you do. I mean,
I don't know if you do.
It's definitely different, and you know, it's an acquired taste. For sure, but it's not like it's very strong either. Like you know, some onions you can get that are very strong, but
it's almost like small bulbs. They're not like full-size onions. Yeah,
yeah. And it's the entire thing. You eat the entire thing, but a lot of it's like, you know, throw it in like a thing of deer meat or bacon grease or something like that, and eat it like potatoes. You know.
Yeah, I definitely have a bunch.
I'll bring you some. They're not really. They won't be in season by August, but you know they're in season now.
I mean, if you bring them, we have to try them. So
I will see. Well, there's a place. There's a winery in southern West Virginia that makes ramp wine. That's cooking wine, like white cooking wine. And I've had it. And it's pretty good. But I mean, if you don't know what ramps taste like in their raw form, then it'll just be like cooking wine. But I mean, there's ramp whiskey. I mean, there's people make a lot of things out of this stuff. I mean, it's a hillbilly thing. You know what I mean? It's like moonshine. I'm sure there's ramp moonshine somewhere. You know?
Yeah, they're really capitalizing on it. That's for sure.
But yeah, like I mean, like chefs will like order this stuff and have it in their cuisine in like San Francisco and stuff. Like it's crazy. It's just
it's like a fine dining niche sort of thing. When in reality,
I guess they think it is. I mean,
they know that's what I'm saying, but like nobody knows what it is. So you put it like on
and you're like, you don't even want to cook it. You don't want to cook it in your house. You don't want to cook it. You don't want to cook it in your house because your entire house will smell like that for a good month. You know, like which is fine if everybody's eating it because everybody's like, oh, I don't smell anything. You know, it's like if you smoke cigarettes in your house, you don't really smell it. You know.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
That's the solution.
It's very pungent, I guess would be a good word for it. But it is good and it's good for you. And you know,
it's an onion. I'll take me a pickled red onion.
It seems
I do like pickled red onions. Those are the shit. Yes.
Give me one sane human who doesn't like pickled red onions.
I mean,
you look like you have something to tell me.
They're out there for sure.
My buddy Rob doesn't like anything onions or vegetables for that matter. No vegetables at all. Nothing.
It seems like to me that's a hell of a lot to go through for such a small little.
What the ramps?
Yeah, ramps. Yeah.
Not really. I mean, like I could go to a place, several areas that I know of around here. Of course, it's you don't want to go on anybody's private property and get them because they will shoot you.
Yeah, of course.
Because there's a certain way you plant these. You know, if you do plant them, you know they can only be facing like a certain. Like the hillside can only be facing a certain direction for them to grow. Like there's only certain places that they grow. But yeah, I mean, there's several places I could go right now and just go pick some. But I think that they're getting, you know, we've had an early hot spring, so you know the hotter it gets, the worse.
Yeah, we've had a lot of rain. I don't know about you, but we've had a lot of rain.
Yeah, a lot of rain. Yeah, and storms. out the ass.
Yeah.
Okay, I do have to ask you this. Now, you guys are more in like tornado prone area than I am. Have you had tornadoes? Have you witnessed one or been in one?
I haven't witnessed one, but I have noticed that Tornado Alley in the past couple of years has gone from like this to this. So we are seeing more. We are seeing more.
There's a tornado right now.
Like a
oh shit! Is Piper okay? Is Piper okay?
It's probably like 2 months ago, and I was in here working on.
Oh yeah, you were working on
a song that we're going to be recording on our next EP. And I remember after I was done with one of the takes, I just heard sirens, and I was like, "Come on, seriously!" But it was as close as I've.
Out here, it was
close. It was close. It was closer than I've seen it out here, and I've lived out here most of my life. So
is it relatively flat in Louisville, or is it
in the valley? We're big in the valley. So like the thing with like really bad weather is that it usually gets cut off, and it will go north or south of us because of that valley. So like
no, but that was the most I've been terrified about a tornado probably in my entire life, because I don't have a basement here. And it like you've seen, like you look outside, and if you've looked outside enough when there's tornado warnings, you see a pattern. And this pattern that I saw, it like rained really hard and then it got super quiet, and I was terrified. I was scared.
Did you give it like a ride bell?
Yeah, I was scared. I was definitely panicking for sure.
I'll give you my siren. Ding ding ding. I don't know. Hey, speaking of sirens, let's listen to Chain. That wasn't a good segue at all, but I'm trying. You kind of gave us a little bit about what this one's about. Is there any more you want to say for it?
I'm gonna text Tay right now.
It's just about getting
but great. Yeah, it's about, the song starts off with a little sample clip, and it's supposed to put you in whatever year you were, or it's supposed to take you back to whatever time you remember sitting by a pond. And one of the most important things that I wanted in there was a mourning dove, because there's something so nostalgic to me about mourning doves, and just on a relaxing morning or evening, depending on where you are and when you hear them, that just puts me in a sort of relaxing state.
We all picked a sound for that beginning and end soundscape that was like a specific sound to us.
Yeah, and if you listen,
feel like at peace.
I think it's at the end. If you listen real close, you can hear
the fishing line.
Yeah, like casting line, and you hear the bobber hit the water. So
and you hear the rain in the background.
Yeah, so it's about just needing a break and explaining that, and then I suppose finally getting that break at the end when you hear the sound clip.
Shit, begging, scratching.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Cool. This is Chain by 97 Flood, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about what's coming up for you guys and what show I might be driving down to see you at. I think it's in August. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Check it out.
That's what I say.
Nice. The morning dub is there for sure.
Yeah.
Present. I like that.
Thank
It's
you.
so different. It's so different. I'm not gathering anything that it makes me say, oh well, this sounds like this. I don't like to do that anyway, but it sounds like 97 Flood to me.
Well, thank you. But also, I'm never mad when someone hears something that it reminds them of something. I feel like that's just a natural human thing to be like, oh, this is what this reminds me of, or this song sounds exactly like this. But it's nice knowing that most of the feedback that we've heard is I like it. It's nostalgic, but I can't pinpoint it. And like,
it's original. It's original sounding, and several bands are like that now, and that's what I love about where music's headed. It's not headed where I thought it was. Before I started this show, it was like, man, every band sounds pretty much the same. The radio, it sucks, and just where's it going? But since I've started doing this, so many bands are doing their own thing. Like, and I think a lot of it, yes, is in influences and stuff, and it's a lot of it also is things that they always wanted to do in other bands, but they just couldn't because it was just stuck in this rut of whatever it was.
Many like flagship bands right now that are actually doing the thing like really, really well.
Right.
I kind of go back and look at a lot of those bands that were big from back in the day, and like I go back and I listen to some of their newer stuff that they're putting out now, and I'm like, yeah, it's all kind of running together for me. But there's bands that have taken the forefront, that have like the torch has been passed to them already, and the stuff that they're putting out now, post torch passing, what they're doing with that torch is fucking sick, which leads me to believe that exactly what you're saying is correct.
And it's also,
as a whole, we're actually moving in a really good direction.
It's also cool that you're
appreciating
that you're finding all these bands that are it's cleansing your palate as well, which is, it's got to be refreshing on your end. Because I remember back in the MySpace days, back when I had the time to just spend hours searching and looking for bands, like I don't have that time anymore. And it's been a struggling realization between me realizing I don't have time for that and me being like, is the passion just not there? Like I used to just spend hours on MySpace with friends, just searching genres and subgenres, and then just looking through that and clicking on every page that has an aesthetic that we like and listening to it, and then going to like LimeWire, or even going on like uTorrent sites that have like bands weekly that they're just putting up there and just showing and finding bands like that. So that makes me happy that you're able to see a new light and not just what you hear on the radio, and not just what you.
I can't remember the last time I listened to the radio. Even like it's like there's nothing on there that's interesting anymore.
To be fair, though, I do think that some of the stuff, like I don't think everything that comes on the radio, and I spent a long time feeling exactly how we're talking right now. Like everything on the radio missed me with that. Everything I hear now, but I don't know, man. Some of the stuff that I hear now, it's like to get people's attention, and it's people like Anderson .Paak, for example. Anderson .Paak and Bruno Mars, which are two people that if you would have asked me about 7-8 years ago, I'd be like, the fuck Bruno Mars, get out of my face. But they put out this Silk Sonic record. They had this like full band, this big band thing, and like I don't know, man, substance is coming back to the people. Like you listen to what mainstream music was, like your Princes and Michael Jacksons and things like that through like the 70s and the 80s, and you see how much people, for a general rule, used to really love like digging deep as far as artistry goes, like not just this flashiness that we kind of went through of like the early 2000s and the 2010s. Like we're bringing some real artistry back into the world now with some things.
That'd be good to, maybe I will go back to the radio for a little bit to see if I can
try the radio one more time. I'm here to advocate.
I don't know.
I can't guarantee anything, but
I'm advocating for the radio.
I'm kind of right there with you.
All listen more pop music.
My view on it is it'll remind me of older stuff that is still holds true to this day, like, so that's
not to take away from that.
No, that's not to take
that's
away.
I know what you mean. It hopefully we'll circle back to the mainstreams. It's
shit more than that.
I mean, it's basically, if you really look at the music industry, it's basically impossible to break free and do it as a full-time job. It's virtually impossible because there's so many artists working just as hard or harder, or maybe not even working that hard and just making it with their music. It's just what do you do? What do you do with anything anymore? And you just keep doing. I think the only answer to that is you just do what you do and you be who you are. because
picking
the people that you have love what you're doing, and
diligently
doing that. Don't change that stuff.
You stay consistent and you figure out where the algorithm is right now, and you figure out what the formula is right now. The thing is that like I can't remember what random band member, what random classic rock band said it, but this interview, he's like, the working class band's not a thing anymore. Like, you can't be a Monday through Friday guy, play the right club at the right time in the right city in the right state for the right producer to hear you, and then all of a sudden you fucking took right off. That's not a thing.
Yeah.
The people that are rewarded in that capacity are the kids that kind of sit at home, and everything they do is all centered around 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Content.
It's so oversaturated, like you were saying. Like, everyone wants to do it, everyone is doing it, and they're
doing it well.
Yeah, more often than not they're doing well. But there's also bands out there that may not be doing it that well, but have the resources. They have the money. They don't have. They can not have a job. They know the right.
They know that person that's in the industry that they could.
Yeah. What bands are those, Jared?
Plead the fifth. we all know they're out there, And
yeah, they are. And but like there's a band that I'm going to see this week. Lives Lost. I'm going to see them Thursday. My first trip to Harrisburg in a long time, but I'll be going up there to see music, and I've had several bands from that area on the show, so I'll hopefully I get to see some of them. But Lives Lost does a lot of promotion on their Instagram. Like Tannis does a lot of promotion for them.
You have to be consistent.
Like do you like this kind of music? Then you might like us, kind of stuff. And
that's the hardest part for us.
I don't think he'll ever stop doing that. And I don't.
I mean, you got to walk that fine line between like pissing off your audience because you're giving them.
It's good original material, and it's him talking, and some of it's just posting like with words, and they're still putting out good music. So they are trying to find something, find somebody to notice them. Maybe, I don't know, but don't stop promoting yourself like that. That's the only thing I can really tell anybody. Don't stop, because that's probably how I found you guys. I think. Maybe like an Instagram ad or the algorithm, something got me to you guys, and it sounds great. Like, I want to hear more 97 Flood for sure. Like now.
Thank you so much.
Stat.
Yeah.
What is the thing happening in August that I'm thinking about coming to Louisville for?
Phenomenal opportunity we got. So, our bassist, he is an electrician, but he also he's been doing sound for the past couple of years and like stage production and stuff like that for a hardcore festival here called LDB. Last year it was LD Triple B because it was a collab with Triple B Records. Him and I have a few good ties in with some of the hardcore scene and just knowing the right people at the right time. And the band that we're playing with is Fiddlehead on August 1st at Portal, and we were just in the right place at the right time, knowing they were coming through, and then asking who was booking it.
Thank God Dad jumped in.
Yeah,
it's just like, hey, do you guys need it?
And Colin Feeney, who does like 502 shows, and he works with, or he does
manages a couple bands.
Gold Theory, who works with like Turnstile and like Knock Loose and massive bands like that. It was kind of like I said, just knowing the right people and being at the right place at the right time. And he had already, when Joey had asked him, he said he'd already planned on putting us on, and it was great because we love Fiddlehead for sure.
Back to parts of reasons why you gotta love Louisville. It's because we all work so hard, and it becomes so evident when you look at things like LDB Fest, like the team that surrounds that, Joey, Dad, Father Chuck included, how fucking hard they work to make that festival just fat as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, shout out to everybody that has anything to ever do with that ever, because holy shit.
It's been 12 years in the making.
Yeah.
I feel like I really like even more now than when I spoke to you before about, that's before we even decided to do this show, I was like, I could probably get to that show, and I feel like I need to come to that show just to see. I need to see this scene. I need to experience this scene, and it sounds badass. It really does.
Yeah, and I mean that one's at Portal too, which is one of my favorite venues, Louisville venues. Would we consider Portal? No, I don't. It's not DIY.
No, it's not.
But
I like Portal.
I like Portal. Yeah, I like Portal. Portal's cool. It's a very Louisville venue. It feels very Louisville to me.
It was one of the only ones we had for a while, and it sucked because it's like a 350 cap room, so there was no middle ground for smaller bands to come through, except for Magbar, which has been the tried and true for the past.
That's the most
2 years. Prior to that, it was Spinelli's downtown. Now we have a new Spinelli's, but they're working on getting certain stuff up to code to have shows again. So
shout out old Spinelli's.
Shout out old Spinelli's downtown.
Shout out all 18 stairs.
Yeah, shout out all ages shows. That's just like the way to go. Like I don't
let the fucking let everyone.
I don't care to play 21 plus shows unless it's a band that's on a list or B list market that's undoubtedly going to pull at least 300 people. Other than that, where our scene is at right now is all ages. They don't care what it is. They're tunnel vision. They come and see it live. They love it.
They jam out. They jam
out, and then they continue to follow you and continue to show support. There's something to be said there
this
sure.
New wave of kids, man, they're so inclusive. That's one thing I've noticed. Like I remember when I was coming up, and I'm gonna sound like the fucking old guy right now, but when I was their age and coming up around all these guys, the motherfuckers that played in bands, and thinking to myself like, whoa, that's crazy. Like, how do I be friends with all of them? And I don't know, just feeling. I don't know. These kids, they're just everybody's friends now. Nobody gives a fuck what.
Well, there was
a
certain disconnect back then because the people that were our age now, when we were that age, hardcore was a lot more violent. Oh, yeah. It was a lot more inherently violent, and it was very cliquey. I mean, it's still pretty cliquey to this day, but there's something those older people that we couldn't really look to or didn't really get to know aren't coming around anymore, and that's okay. It gets hard. The older you get, the more inconvenient it becomes to go to shows. But there's something to be said about the people that are still around who are 30 years old like we are, and there's something to be said about that without blowing smoke up my own ass, being able to look at it and be like, this is beautiful, seeing these weird kids come in, and we're not judging, we're letting them do their own thing, because that's how the scene continues to grow and thrive. When you stop letting kids into shows and stop being like, yo, like they're lame, like what are they doing? Like they're not dancing with style, they're push moshing, they're showing up in court.
Yeah,
they're showing up in court to
really hear people give people shit for it, like just dancing, having a good time. Look at the way you're having a good time. Fuck that. Look at the way I have a good time.
Everyone is able to enjoy music differently.
Exactly,
and that's important.
Well, I'm going to do my best to come over and see this scene when you guys play in August.
We would love that.
Let me give me more details when you can.
You better not make fun of one weird kid's mosh, or
say what?
You better not make fun of one weird kid moshing. All right, so help
I can't.
me.
Well, I mean, I might be that weird kid.
Okay.
I might be that weird kid.
Yeah, well, we'll give you the one. Okay, and then you could do that too. That's better.
They'll follow me. I'll be like, "Hey, weird kids, come here." Get your ass over here.
Yeah,
I want to be that weird kid.
Pull the do you remember back in the day when like people would like link up like this
and then do
the synchronized fucking what is it?
Now, can we do a circle pit at your show?
Have we had a circle?
No.
Yes. All right. Well, we're gonna do one then. So
okay, yeah, we'll do.
I'll get it going for you.
Whatever you want to do and however you want to enjoy it.
Tomorrow night, or tomorrow about this time, 6:30 tomorrow. Another band from Louisville will be on called Submariner. I'll try to link you guys together. I'll send you their profile and.
Let me get on Instagram right now.
Get you guys together, and maybe you can do some shows together and stuff. I think they're fairly new too. I don't know too much about them. We'll find out tomorrow. But it was nice meeting you guys tonight. Go ahead and give yourself some plugs and tell everybody where to see you, when, where, what's going on. And
they're actually following us, so I follow them back.
Your shirt size and your pant size and all that stuff.
Right now, we just finished up demoing for a 5 or 6 song EP. We plan on starting to record in the middle of June, hopefully to have that out no later than early to late September.
We'll come back on. We'll premiere it.
Yeah, we have our next show that we have nailed is with a insanely sick rock band called Soul Blind, and that is at Magbar on the 21st. I want to say, on June 21st. Nice. So that'll be a really cool show. I'm not sure that's been announced yet, but here it is. We're announcing it.
I don't think it has.
It's also with another really cool band called A Sky So Black. I've been fortunate enough to play with them back when I was playing drums and Gates to Hell. So that was really cool getting to meet them. And that's just really cool people making really cool music. So that's one of the beautiful things about music is if you stick with it long enough, you're going to see the same people and you're going to be able to catch up and it's going to be like, you saw them yesterday. So that's our next show. We're working on an EP. We're just making sure that we're taking it day by day and we're setting goals and we're meeting those goals without trying to put too much on our plate.
But in the meantime, there's 2 music videos we have on YouTube.
Yeah, we have a music video for Chain and How to Disappear Completely Part 2.
2 songs on Spotify and your Apple Music and your whatever you has used.
I don't know how much longer TikTok's going to be around, but we're on there.
Somebody told me they heard us on our local NPR station, so I guess you can catch it there. I haven't confirmed that,
I don't know.
I got told.
That's wild. Yeah, so Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, we try to do our best to post. We try not to spam.
We spam.
Whenever we do post some stuff.
When it's needed, right?
Yeah, we do our best to make sure we're really thinking about how we post. Actual post, more often than none on our stories, you'll see us working on demos. You'll get a little insight on who we are and what we do and just how we have fun and try to express how we try to be as genuine as possible and that we truly love what we do and we're not doing it for any other reason but for the love of it, which obviously with how long we've been doing it and we're getting old, I feel like I hopefully feel like that just gets conveyed naturally.
So if you want to see us do that and call each other Chuck a lot, go follow us on those.
Or go to a show.
Or go to a show. Yeah. So
I need to see this Chuck thing in person. This whole group of Chucks. I need to see this.
It's a.
Then you look at me and be like, "Hey, there's Up Chuck,"
or
Chuck Tronism.
Yeah, or hey, there's Chuck Bastard. So
Chuck Bastard. If I hear Chuck Bastard I think I have the capacity to hear like a third of a mile away. I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's something that Chuck says.
Definitely keep it up. Keep up what you're doing. You're doing it the right way. I don't think there's a wrong way to do it.
And just to elaborate on Chain a little bit, if that's okay.
Yeah.
That one, I mean, you can hear it in the lyrics, but
I like that song a lot.
It's about being stuck in a horrible emotional situation and realizing that you need to take time to process it. Because if you're not processing your emotions, what are you doing? That one is one of the older ones we've had. How to Disappear is one of the newest ones we've written. Chain we've had for quite some time. That song has gone through quite a few different variations. I'm really happy with how that one turned out. I
think that's the first one I've heard.
Yeah. So take it how you will, but there's certain parts in there that I channeled some self-titled Blink-182, which was one of the first records I bought. I love that band so much. But yeah, if you care to keep up with us, social media, our own personal socials.
August 2nd at Portal in Louisville, Fiddlehead, us.
I will probably be there. I will probably be at that show.
Yeah, and then
Gel.
I always do this.
Millie.
At the end of the show where I tell you that I will send you stickers, but I don't need to send you stickers if I'm going to be there. So I will probably have newer ones by then. But
you can. If you want to send us stickers, then we can send you some stickers back.
Temporary tattoos for your forehead or wherever you would like to put them.
Yep.
And I'll probably do a reorder of these. I'm running low on these, but I have keychains, and everybody seems to like these keychains. So I'll probably get
that's awesome. I actually just recently found a site that does keychains and lanyards and stuff like that.
I will send you guys a link for a coupon to where I get my all my stuff, and maybe that'll help you out.
Awesome.
Order from them. But I launched a website at the beginning of the year, and I keep pushing this because it just it was expensive for one thing, but I do a Patreon style thing on there. If you like the show, support the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But everybody that supports, regardless of what tier you choose to support, you get a Keep Me Alive supporter sticker that nobody else gets. I don't hand these out to anybody. You get that, and the higher tier you get, the more things you get that nobody else gets.
It's on Patreon.
It's not on Patreon, but it's a Patreon style. So it's just on keepmealive.com. If you go to keepmealive.com, you can find a little bit more about the show and actually a personal bio that I wrote of myself. But if you want to know more about me and what I do, other than the show and stuff, that's on there.
Yeah, I know websites can be a pain in the ass to.
They can be, but and I was so against websites for a long time, and I was like, it's a professional thing to do. If this show's going to keep going, I got to have something. I got to, spend money.
Be able. It's not even about the website; it's about the fact that you have one.
Exactly. Damn it. And it's a keepmealive.com, not a keepmealive / blah blah / .com. It's a
live.com.
CuteManiaLive.com. Yes. Check it out. And I did it. Yes, that's it. Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. I had a buddy of mine come down that does photography and did some photography in the studio, and
Nice.
then I had a guy build the site for me, and I still work with him to this day. Updating it and different things. I'm not very savvy at all when it comes to software and websites and things. So I had a guy build it for me, and he did a very good job on it. And it's still updating, but
it looks good from what I've seen.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It's supposed to be professional.
Yeah. People seriously underestimate how hard it is to not only have a domain but make it look the way it's supposed to. So
exactly, and I tried so many times on the sites that teach you how to do it, and every time it was like, this is cringy. I would not want to go to this site,
Yeah.
So Luke Frost did this site. Luke Frost, and he did a very good job on this site. So, tomorrow I'm gonna have another band from Louisville. Hopefully they'll tell me. Hopefully they even say it right. I wonder if they'll even say it like you guys say it. Maybe they do.
No, I'm gonna have faith they'll say it right. I'm not even gonna question it. They're gonna know. They're gonna know. They know
and
protocol.
like I said, they had already followed our band page, and now I followed them back. I feel dumb for that, but
Yeah, well, it might have been through just me and having you on, because I had told them through the email that I was having you guys on tonight. So
well, now we're friends, and hopefully we'll play a show together soon.
Nice. I will set it up.
Awesome.
And you can travel to West Virginia and play, the two bands.
I mean, that's the goal to eventually start playing out of town shows.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to August, and I'm going to do my best. I can't guarantee, you know how life goes, but I'm going to do everything in my power to make it to that show and experience Louisville.
And if you can, we will do everything in our power to make sure that you are accommodated in however you need.
Oh, that's really like anything that I need.
Anything we can do. I'm not going to say anything. I said we'll do our best to make sure that if there's something you need, we can whatever. Yeah.
Set the bar low.
No, I will bring you guys stickers in person to that show. I will probably have a bunch of these. I'm running low, but I always restock on them. But I will send you guys the coupon if you guys would like to get something.
Yeah, of course.
They're really good company. Playing us out of the show is a band I believe is from Brooklyn, but I can't remember. I'm gonna have to go back and look. I see bands all the time, and I look at bands all the time, listen to bands all the time, and I can never remember where everybody's from. Co-title is going to be the outro song. The song is called "Until the Beam of an Eternity." It's a very long title, but the song's cool, I thought. So, yeah, tomorrow is Submariner from Louisville, and I don't know what the intro and outro is going to be yet. I'll have to figure that out tonight, but it might be 97 Flood. I'm thinking it might have to be.
Doesn't sound like a bad idea.
Do you have any songs that are unreleased that you could send me?
None that are worth hearing. It's all just Reaper demos. So
no.
Yeah. All right. Well, come back on the show. Let's premiere a song. Premiere an album.
Of course.
Let's do it.
We'll definitely be in touch, and I would love to premiere a song.
Maybe before that August show, come back on and we'll do a little mini show or something and talk about that. Promote the show a little bit.
We should have something, even if it's just like a little 30-second clip to show you what we're going to be releasing. We should have something to show you by then.
For sure.
Oh yeah. Nice. Thank you guys so much. It's been a pleasure meeting you.
Same. Thank you so much.
I look forward to meeting you in person. We'll hug. We'll do a group Chuck hug, and I'll be the up Chuck of that group.
Chuck hug. That's how we say it before we get into it.
Have a good night, guys, and stay away from the tornadoes. Tell Piper I said hello. And this is co-title with "Until the Beam of an Eternity," and I will see everybody tomorrow at 6:30 with another Louisville band called Submariner.
Shout out Submariner.
Have a great night, guys. We'll see you.
All right. You as well. See you.